What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk irrigation. I know it's past the irrigation season. You're probably getting your irrigation blown out if you have it. You're putting all your hoses away. Well, I've always wanted to have sprinklers that hit all of the flowers on one side of my house. It just gets beat with the sun, right? Called a couple companies, thousands of dollars. So I figured, screw that. Let's do it from Home Depot. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So there's not a lot that goes into an irrigation system. This is kind of a miniaturized version of everything that you need to make a single zone with two heads, whichever way you want to do it, minus the controller. This thing is probably, I don't know, there's probably 40, 50 bucks sitting here, maybe. These probably being the most expensive part. I'm just gonna put this thing together and kind of tell you how the system works and show you how I plan on making a zone around my house in a downsized version of that. So at the heart of every irrigation system is your controller, whether it be an Imolaza Smart controller like this one or an old style Hunter. These wires coming off of your valves, these plug into your controller, right? And all any controller does is, think of it like a light switch. You have your different zones here, and you plug the positive and negative into each one, and all the controller is doing is just controlling this circuit. So it either opens it to turn it off or closes it, turns that valve on. Your valve is what controls the actual flow of the water. So power gets sent from your controller into the solenoid, and there's a diaphragm in here, and this solenoid will open and close it. So your water source comes in, and then it comes out and splits into whatever it's going into. And now that the water is coming out of the valve, you're going into your zone. If you have multiple zones in your irrigation, you're gonna have multiple valves, right? So that's where the 12, the 16, the 8, whatever your system can control, this is what it's talking about. It's controlling this. So after your valve is your supply line, and this is what's going out to all of the different heads. So in a normal irrigation system, everything is gonna be underground, right? And then once you get your supply line, it's gonna go to what's called a riser. This is what I'm using as a riser, but these are not what they would look like underground in an underground irrigation system. So all a riser is a spot where you can put different size risers depending on how deep into the ground or how high you need your sprinkler. So this is a 1 inch, 2, and 4. So whichever one I need for this style pop-up, because all of these pop-ups are a 1/2 inch inlet, right? So you have to have a 1/2 inch inlet for the pop-ups, and then a 3/4 inch for your rotary. So your rotaries are flowing more, so they need a bigger line going to them. So you're gonna have a different size riser, and you're gonna have a different size adapter. So these ones, you cut to the length that you need, whereas on the 1/2 inch, you get different actual risers for your needs. So if I were going to do a system with just one head, all I would need is a pipe coming out to one riser, and then this just screws into that. Of course, I would cut this down to my need. And this is a full irrigation, technically a full irrigation zone. I'm just missing the source of water, right? Which is just gonna be a garden hose for me because that's a 3/4 inch inlet. So, there's not a lot to irrigation. It's super simple the way it works, and the parts are very simple, but the reason that irrigation installs are so expensive is the labor. So you have to get all the trenches, and you have to make sure all of your zones are put out properly so you're getting even coverage. If you have gaps, this side's gonna look great in this side, but the middle's gonna look like Charlie Brown lawn, right? So that's why that stuff is so expensive. So if I just wanted to do one zone, I literally just need, turn that bad boy around. I literally just need one head, a riser, and boom, and there I'm done. And this thing will do, I can go up to 38 feet with this. So I can cover a lot of ground with just this. But if I have different needs, you're gonna have to start doing different things. So you could put a T-riser in it, right? And with 2 different parts, now I can have 2 heads on this, right? I can have one here and one here, and I can continue to do that in any direction and angle that I need to. So this is probably what I might do next year if I do some spot overseeding instead of watering the entire lawn 3 times a day. I can just put a valve up, put it on my controller, and then I can put a pop-up right beside that, and then I'm only watering my seeds. I'm saving money, and I'm not gonna have to water the entire lawn because I'm not gonna have to mow the entire lawn because I'm only watering one spot. The big things with irrigation, and especially if I'm doing it with PCV, is getting a good seal, because if this leaks, I'm losing pressure and my sprinkler head's not gonna work as good, and I'm wasting water, I'm wasting money. So you have to prime PCV as well as put a glue on it. I don't know if it's a glue or a cement, whatever it is, to do that. But that's probably the way I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna use this. Because we go on vacations, or I'm out fishing, or I'm out traveling for work, and I can't ask the family to water the lawn for me, right? Because I want it done my way, right? So with this, it just works off of an app on my phone, and then I can just turn it on for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever that need is. Or I can set a schedule, because you can set schedules with this thing, and I can do it right from my phone. It's super simple, super easy. Thank you for Imolaza for sending this over. I'm not using it this year because we're past the season, and it's rained every day for like past 5 days. So the valves are super simple to set up, right? So we have all of our zones here, and they're all numbered, and you have, this will do 12 zones, but we can also put like a moisture sensor in it, so you can stick a little probe down in the ground, and it'll plug into this and it'll read the moisture. And not only after this watches your local weather and tells you, it's gonna be too windy and your water's gonna blow into the street, or it's gonna be too cold, it's not gonna do it, saving you money in the long run. I've been using a different smart irrigation controller for about a year. So smart irrigation controllers are awesome, and they're super easy to set up. They're absolutely worth your money, and you should definitely have them. So everything here is only like maybe 50 or 60 bucks, and this will make a functioning, real one-zone irrigation system that would be above ground. I could dig it into the ground if I wanted to, but I probably won't. I'll leave this out of the ground with a cover on it, with a cover over it, excuse me, so the electrical side of it's staying dry, and then just run that to the Imolaza, and I'll be able to water the flowers whenever I want. Obviously, much like your wife, I'm gonna need more pipe. So everything that I have here, minus the controller, and I'll have to look, I'll put it in the description if it is, everything here I got from Home Depot, right? I got all of the heads, all of the pipe, the valve, the angles, the tees, the cement, the primer. It's super easy to make your own irrigation system, especially if you don't mind having a pipe laying against the ground up against your house, right? That way, if you got a big backyard like I do, I could run this across the back of my house and just put these rotaries on it, and then I have irrigation, right? I have irrigation, easier to service because it's right there. If something leaks, I know exactly where it is. I can just walk up to it, cut it off, badge it, or bandage it, whatever you want to call it, repair it. There's no tons of money for something that's this simple. If you go out and you build an irrigation system online with all the parts, let's say I have 42 heads in my irrigation system that was in the house when I bought it, I didn't get it put in. If I were to price that out today, just parts, it might be $1,000, maybe, for 42 heads, 11 zones, everything, right? But if I were to get it professionally installed, that'd be $10,000 or $15,000. I don't know about you guys, I don't have that kind of money, right? So I do shit like this. So I just wanted to show you how easy it really is to make your own irrigation system, especially if it's temporary, if you're overseeding, if you're putting in new plants that require a lot of water every day in the heat of summer, something like that. The combination of a smart irrigation controller in your own little zone made for that, you can't beat it.